Greetings. This is Justin Allan, the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. Sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Christian, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, he is working full-time at a dermatology office. He recently started a small weight loss practice and wants to begin adding hormone replacement therapy services to it with a focus on men's health. He is needing assistance with marketing the practice and is wondering if this business model is even feasible in a saturated market. Hey, Christian, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Justin?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for hopping on here, on a Wednesday afternoon. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, how long you've been a nurse practitioner for, and what sorts of things you've been up to.
Okay, so I started as a nurse practitioner about in 2016. So about 8 years ago, I started in nephrology. I worked there for about 2 years and moved over to ER and moonlighted in urgent cares for a while. And then about, I would say 2 years ago, I started in dermatology and I've been working there ever since.
Okay, so you've been doing quite a few different things. So you're pretty diversified in your skill set, it sounds like.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've always liked like emergency department or in urgent care, but after COVID, I worked through all that. Now it was time for a change, so I wanted to kind of get into dermatology. My wife, who's a nurse practitioner, also works in dermatology, and I really liked it because it has a lot of different, things you can do like surgery and then medical derm and then aesthetics. So it was just nice to have a little change.
Sure. COVID was kind of the, final nail in the coffin for a lot of people. Especially with ER. Yeah. I mean, geez, the shit just burns you out.
I know it was tough. I mean, at one point I was seeing over 100 patients a day and it's by myself. I just got tired.
Yeah, man. I've been there before. Yeah. That is not a fun shift.
No, it's not. I got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, I feel like I'm not even really helping anyone. I mean, especially when everyone was just coming in for the test. I mean, some of them weren't even really sick. And I think a lot of it had to do with them having to go back to work and stuff. So, I mean, I'm glad I could help out. There was some very sick people too, but it was definitely challenging. And with one provider, it's just really not sustainable.
No, it's not, man. You can't do that long term. How old are you?
I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year.
Oh, so hey, same here. So, it's a younger person's game. I mean, once you start getting closer to 40 years old, you can't do that crap anymore.
Yeah, it's challenging for sure.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what am I doing? And I felt like I was on a med surge floor again. I was just running from room to room, and it was challenging. But I'm glad I did it. But man, I couldn't see myself doing that at 45, 50 years old. No way.
No, there's no way, man. Like, I don't even think your body could even hold up to it,
No.
Yeah,
No.
Getting up and down from the chair constantly. Like, my back would kill me during those long urgent care shifts.
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah. And you're back, and it's nice because you see a lot of different things, but at some point it's kind of like the cough and the sore throat, and it's kind of redundant. And you're like, all right, like I want to do something. I want to be able to control my patient panel a little bit. So dermatology, I really like it. I'm able to control that. I have my own. My group is very nice to me. They treat me well. So I guess see about 30 patients a day in there, and that's good. I like that.
Yeah. It's manageable. Yeah. Do you work 5 days a week, or is it a 4-day a week schedule? What does it look like?
I work 5. I work 5 right now. Eventually I probably could go to 4, but right now I really like the 5 days a week, because a lot of the other providers that I work, we have a big group. They work 4 days a week. So it gets patients in. I'm able to see them, whereas if they couldn't see their current provider, because we have our own patient group, they could see me. So it helps out the practice a lot.
Yeah. That sounds like it. So,
Yeah.
okay. So you recently started a small kind of weight loss practice, and you're going to be doing some men's health in it. So how are you juggling that, working 5 days a week, and how are things going?
Right now it's kind of slow, to be honest. I might get 1 or 2 a week here and there, and a lot of it I try to do telemedicine. But recently I work out at a gym, and the gym is owned by a chiropractor, and he was like, he does physical therapy too. He's a physical therapist as well, and he's like, man, we're seeing a lot of overweight people. They want to get on that, like on semaglutide or tirzepatide or something. And he's like, I was like, I actually just recently did a course on this, and it's kind of drawn interest because I like healthy lifestyle as well. And I think, I was like, maybe this is something, we could do here. And he's like, yeah, I'd love that. So he wants to get me in there like a couple days a week, after, maybe like around 5 o'clock or later, just to, see a couple patients. So it's not going to be his business. It's going to be my own. And I would just rent from him like a small little office.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So things are a little bit slow. When did you start this?
I started it maybe a month ago. Yeah. So it's still new. I'm getting all the kinks worked out. Just trying to get, I got my Opti Mantra set up, and I already have my LLC from previous when I did aesthetics for a little bit and contract work. So I kind of kept my LLC, and then I did like a DBA on top of that.
Gotcha. Okay. So, yeah. This is just such a baby business at this point.
Yeah.
How many patients do you have total now?
I have like 5 or 6, and it grows. I started off with a friend of mine who wanted to do it. So she was dealing with some weight issues. She wanted to get down about 30, 40 pounds. So I kind of started with that. And then I got a couple others. And then the chiropractor who works with a lot of, overweight individuals, that he's been referring to me. So I probably get 1 or 2 a week, so I have like 5 or 6 so far.
Okay. Listen, man, that's, honestly, that's probably pretty average for the first month of your business for, most people who kind of just start a little side gig. So
yeah.
So I think you're on the right trajectory, sounds like. You have a website and all that kind of stuff set up?
I don't have a website yet. I need to get one made. That's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. That should be an absolute priority.
Okay. All right. Do you recommend hiring some for that? Because I'm not really very well versed in making websites. Did you make your own? Is that how you did that?
Correct. Yeah. So basically every business I start, I make the first website. Yeah. Just because, you can get in there and you can write the content, design it kind of how you want it, make sure that the correct verbiage and, what it is that you want on that site's on there. Okay.
Okay.
If you use something like GoDaddy, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's really not that hard. I mean, their website builder is very intuitive, and it really is kind of it's a piece of cake.
Okay.
You don't really got to be technically savvy with it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward when you start getting in there, clicking around, and start designing stuff. It's pretty simple. So my recommendation for you is probably just start, your own site right now. Get it designed, write the content in it, how you want it. You can look at some other practice websites, some other weight loss clinics, other men's health practices, whatever. You can kind of use their website as a basic template. So that way you can have a general idea of what it should look like and what kind of content should be in it.
Something like this would probably take you just a couple days to do. You could probably do it, on a slow day at the clinic or maybe on a Saturday afternoon or whatever. So I would say just do it on your own for now to save the money. And then if you come across a few $1,000s you can spend, then you can hire a professional to get in there, take all the information you put in there, all the content and stuff, and then they can design a, more professional website. But it's not completely necessary right now.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. I just needed something to have like a link to my because I have like a scheduler through my charting system, and then patients can link on it and then hit the link, and then they can pay like a deposit, like a deposit, and then to see me, and then that I do all my tele visit through that. Or I could, if they want to do an in-person visit, they can schedule online too. So I have that on the gym's website. So people can schedule on that. They just click on it, and then they can schedule through my like HTML, OptiMantra.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So what you would do is just in your EMR, there should be like a line of code that you copy and paste, and you just basically plop it in there, and it just populates out, the button or whatever.
Okay.
Click on. Yeah. That's super easy. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So get a website up and running. That way it looks a little bit more professional. I mean, anymore, if a business doesn't have a website, it just, something seems sketchy about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And I need to get that rolling. That's been on my list. So as a one-man show, it's kind of hard to get all this stuff going, at first, but I'm getting some momentum now. So now that I took the course, I feel comfortable with it. I got my compounding pharmacy accounts already situated. So that's easy. That's, I got that in a couple weeks. And then the payer, that was hard too. But once I got that done, I felt legit. And then I was like, all right, well, I need a website now. So that way it'll solidify me.
Well, you didn't succumb to analysis paralysis. You got started and you started seeing patients. That's really all that matters. You got started. Now it's time for the momentum to really get going, And so, start a website now, start marketing, start building more relationships. Like now you have just the basic structure set up. Now it's time to just, grow it from here. Right.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So
I figured you would tell me that, like, hey, you got to do a website. So I was like, he's going to tell me that.
You really need to get a Google business listing too. If you can, if you can get it, at the site that you're at, that's even better. Usually you have to tie a physical address to it. If the physical address is already shared by another business, if another business is already, has the Google listing for that, sometimes you can just put that address there and put Suite A or something in it. And usually that'll allow you to kind of bypass that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I could try that because this is a pretty established gym. They do physical therapy there. They do chiropractic services. So I'll be kind of intertwined in that on the website, but it's just going to be like my own thing. So he was gracious enough to let me do that. So
yeah,
it's just a part-time thing. I have no intentions of leaving my current thing. I mean, I have a good gig where I am. So if it takes off, great. But I'd like to keep it kind of small for now, just for extra income. That's my goal right now. So
sure. I think that's an admirable goal, and I think it's a safe bet. Like, you maintain your job while this business gets up and running. You start making some side money, and you see what happens, right?
Yeah, and I can't complain. Like they treat us very well. My group now, and they reimburse us very well. So I'm like, why would I leave? I mean, it's a safe gig right now. So that's where I kind of stand right now.
I got you. So what's your ultimate goal then? Is your goal right now to just maintain your employment, have a little side gig you do one day a week, make an extra $10,000 a month or whatever? Or is your, other goal, get this thing scaled, get this thing grown, so that way you can leave your job and potentially work less and make more money? Or is it just kind of like, I really just don't know right now, and I'm just going to see what happens?
Honestly, I don't really know. I kind of want to see where it happens, but like, if I'm bringing in a significant amount and I'm kind of like becoming a slave to it, my goal would probably be to like hire someone or have like 2 part-time nurse practitioners that can kind of run it. And then I could make like some passive income. That would be my goal. Or have my wife help me with that because she's an NP as well. So, that would be a goal that way I don't have to always be entwined in it. But that that would be the goal for now.
I think that's a really, really good goal. Like,
okay.
Yeah, that's
All
where
right.
that's where your mind needs to be if you want to be a true entrepreneur. A true entrepreneur builds a business that works for them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, a self-employed person builds a business that they can just kind of work for.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the entrepreneur, though, builds a business that works for them, that scales, that grows, that can be leveraged, that can be eventually sold one day, you know? That's kind of where the real big payouts come. So you could do this while working. I mean, I was still working at the urgent care when I had, a couple of nurse practitioners working for me at my men's health clinic.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
yeah, like I was paying people to work for me and I was making money off them while I was, working at this urgent care. So yeah. And then eventually, the business now is just generating so much revenue and whatnot that, I only see patients for a few hours a week. And then, the rest of the patients are seen by other providers and the income just rolls in. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
that's where I want to be. I mean, I want to be kind of in your shoes one day.
Yeah. You'll get there if you do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a really good goal. A lot of people I speak to on this podcast, that's not really their goal. They just want to get a business up and running that they can work in and, basically get paid a salary that they generate. Right. So
Yeah.
going into this with that goal from the get-go is very, very powerful. So well done, developing that mindset. That's really, really
Oh,
important.
thank you. Yeah. I mean, I've done this for a while. I mean, I've noticed on your podcast, there's been some newer nurse practitioners. They haven't really played the game long enough to see like how this works, And so, I'm like, in the long term, I've been doing this almost 10 years. It's like, I'd like to be my own boss one day. So, and basically advance into something else down the road, like whether it's real estate or, or selling my business. I want something I own that I can create and then eventually make money off of, and then hopefully have some wealth down the line. That's the whole goal. So I'm looking long term here.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay. So you got the proper mindset and everything. So now it's just like, okay, what do we do now to get this thing up and running so you can start making some money, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So right now, get the website, right? I mean, things that you can just do here the next week or two is, get a website, see if you can get a Google business listing for that location and begin trying to branch out even further with your connections and start trying to build some sort of referral network. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have a lot of competition in your area for this kind of stuff?
I mean, you see it. I mostly see it like on social media. Like you got these big companies that are trying to jump in the weight loss market. I think a lot of people are kind of scared of that. They don't really want to just talk to like, somebody on the computer. So I like to build a reputation, but I don't really see a lot of things around here, mostly med spas that are offering it now. So that's what I'm seeing, but not a lot. I don't see a huge amount. I just see that it's becoming popular online. That's what I'm seeing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. People would much rather see someone local. They just would.
Mm-hmm.
People realize they get better care. They develop a relationship. They develop almost a friendship with you. It's hard to do that through some big corporate, telemedicine practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to turn into that. I don't want that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So in the short term, then do this, build those referral networks. If there's not a whole lot of competition here, then chances are that you'll probably do pretty well, especially if your practice is more branded towards weight loss and hormone replacement therapy. A lot of aesthetics practices or IV infusion clinics or whatever will offer these services as add-ons, but it's not their true focus. So if you make that your brand and your focus, it'll automatically put you on a different level compared to the other places that do a lot of different things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep it very focused. Keep it very, simple. The most profitable businesses in this space typically offer just a handful of services that complement each other that blend well together. Because if you can, if you can really dial in just a couple services or products, then you become better and better at that service and product. You become an expert within that niche itself. And that puts you just on a different level compared to those that don't. So yeah, if you do that, you'll also set yourself up for a lot faster success.
Yeah, I figure the setting I'm in, with the weight loss, like being in the gym, people want to go there, they want to feel good, they want to lose weight, they want to drop. My goal is not to keep them on a medication forever. My goal is to get them down so they can like kind of like reset and then get a little bit of self-esteem, and then that way they can start working out, start eating right, start feeling better, and then it would also help the gym out too. And then they can kind of lean on physical therapy and chiropractic services there as well, because if you're unhealthy, there's a chance that you might have an injury, or if you're overweight, I'd like to add, like, if someone comes in and they're obese, there's a chance they could have, some low testosterone, some of these guys. So getting them on that would be beneficial to them as well. That way they can continue the momentum of working out and feeling good.
100%. Yeah, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
What'll probably happen is that you'll find that your weight loss clients will be, not necessarily recurrent, right? They'll lose their goal weight. They'll get off the meds and they'll kind of just go live their life. You'll also find a lot of them will want to be more on a maintenance dose of, a weight loss med or whatever. And they could potentially be a little bit more of a long-term client, stick with you for a couple years. The men's health patients, a lot of those guys, their testosterone levels just aren't going to come back. They're just not, 50 years old, your testosterone levels just slowly decline as you get older. So those are going to be more lifelong patients. Okay. So, yeah. So from a business standpoint, try to focus a lot more on more of a recurrent income model. Okay. The patients who stay with you long-term become a, powerful recurrent income source for your business. And so that will help you grow a lot faster, and it'll help bring you a lot more of a consistent and stable income as you grow. Okay. Practices that focus more on the short term, you only see a patient once or twice, or you just see them over a few months and they leave. It's hard to grow and scale something like that because your income's going to fluctuate so much. You have people coming and going. Your turnover rate increases significantly. All right. So, I'm not saying try to get people hooked on a medication so they stay with you forever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you should focus on services that tend to be a little bit more long-term. It's like, it's like primary care, for example. I mean, once you get established with a primary care provider, chances are you'll probably be there for a long time,
Yes.
Dermatology, right? I mean, I'm sure you see some acute stuff that resolves after, a little bit of some steroids or whatever. And then that's that. You probably don't see that patient ever again, but I'm sure you have some patients who come in on a regular basis, right?
Skin cancers that once they come in and we find one, they're back, within 6 months. We keep a good eye on them because it can get kind of ugly fast.
You're right. And so from a medical clinical practice standpoint, that's good practice, right? From a business from a business standpoint, that patient becomes more of a recurrent patient and a long-term income source. So be thinking about that as you provide services, develop products, and that sort of thing in your business. Okay.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioners, sisters, and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Like the weight loss has been tricky for me because I'm like, yeah, if I put someone on, a medication, for like, how do I charge? Do I do it monthly? But, sometimes with the way the compound medicine works and you keep them on a maintenance, so it might last a little bit, just depending on how everything's going with that particular patient, if you increase the dose or whatnot. So I've been trying to figure out like maybe like a model where I can do like a subscription for those type of medicines. It's tricky because it's kind of all over the place. I know with men's health, it's a little easier, or testosterone replacement, it's a little easier to create like a subscription, but it's been difficult with the weight loss drugs.
Sure. Yeah. 'Cause a lot of patients are only going to stick around for, 3 to 12 months, right? Yeah. So you should probably provide both options. Okay. For everything that you do. And by that, I mean, have your base foundational subscription, your base revenue source. Like it's the base foundational service that you provide for everybody. And so, for example, would be the base weight loss service is $350 a month. And that includes, consultation, lab work, and, the semaglutide, for example, right? Okay. That's your foundation service. That's your foundational service. That's your base service. For men's health, it's, the visits, it's the injection supplies, it's the testosterone or whatever. Like that's your base service. Then you can sell packages based off of that base. Okay. So if someone wants to pay for 3 months of a weight loss package, they pay you for 3 months. Okay. So basically your base service times 3 minus 10%, 15%, 20%, a discount if they pay you for a package, at one time, because it's always better to have as much money as you can up front than hoping that they pay you, later down the road, because, they might just leave or whatever. So
yeah, that's a good plan. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that, because I was like trying to think. I'm like, because this is all over the place. I've looked at other, practices and how they structure things, and I'm like, man, I just sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm like, but thank you for that. That makes perfect sense now, how you can kind of gauge it over a 3-month period. I think that's good. I think it's a good.
Yeah. Develop a 3-month package, a 6-month package, and a 12-month package. I got guys that come to my men's health practice who pay for a 12-month weight loss package or a 12-month, men's health package. And it's basically our base rate times 12 minus 20%. So they get a discount, and plus you get all the money up front.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. And
all right, work on that.
Yeah. So just work on that. No refunds, I mean, they pay you the 12 months, you're committed now for 12 months, but you don't got to be super strict about that. I mean, some patients, some patient circumstances will change, someone paid for a 12-month weight loss package and then gets diagnosed with cancer. Obviously I'd probably refund that person,
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take someone's, money for, they got there's hard times in this market right now for people. So I would try to help them out. But, I see where you get it. If they're healthy and they want to do it, and they're devoted and they want to pay ahead of time, why not do it?
Why not do it? Exactly, man. So that's kind of just how you build a basic pricing structure. It's really not that complicated, Yeah. So just kind of build it that way. It's super easy to scale that. It's super easy to grow that. And, it can just be replicated pretty easily. So you're bringing on another service, you bring on peptides, you're bringing in vitamin injections or whatever. You already have a foundation on how to price.
Okay. Great. Yeah. I'm slowly trying that. I got to sit down and kind of make these packages. I got to, I have, some things written down of how I want to charge, but, when you start adding new medicines to the mix, you kind of have to figure out your bottom line and then go from there. So it's been challenging, and it's just trying to gauge the market and see what else is out there and what other people are charging. Yeah. Try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's super smart. You do your market research. You don't want to undercharge yourself, but you also don't want to overcharge, right? So just be competitive.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Maybe I'll knock like $10 off or whatever. Some people respond to that, but I do have a passion for people's health, and it would be nice to see, people lose weight, because unfortunately, there's a lot of obese people out there, and that creates a lot of other issues down the line. So, if we can get people down to optimal weight and they're feeling good, I'd be happy to help them with that.
That's a win-win, man.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So any questions in terms of pricing goes?
So pricing, like with semaglutide, I mean, I know in the course, you mentioned, you should be, charging like whatever your cost is, maybe, or maybe more, whatever your cost is, or like a double that. So would you suggest, I mean, because these compounding pharmacies, they're all over the place, what was your thought process when you have a medicine like semaglutide or tirzepatide? How would you charge that if you're going to prescribe that to a patient?
Yeah, so get kind of a basic average price, because sometimes you'll have to order from different compounding pharmacies based off of shipping times, availability, that kind of a thing, right? So get an average, based off of maybe 3 compounding pharmacies, because typically speaking, you should be able to find the product or a medication between 3 compounding pharmacies. Okay. So, create accounts for 3 different pharmacies, shop around a little bit too, get some pricing from some other places as well, come to an average. Okay. And then based off that average, multiply it by 2 to 4x basically. And that's what you would charge. Now, included in that charge is going to be the visits, the injection supplies, the medication. You can even add in, a B12 shot, a B complex shot, whatever it is. And if you do that, then patients find a lot of value out of it, and they know that that's the price. It doesn't change. And this guy's not nickel and diming me.
Yeah. I don't want to have that reputation. I want them to, be happy. That's their money. They worked hard for it. So I want to make sure they get something out of it. So but I don't want to shortchange myself too, because I'm coming up with that up front. So I just wanted to make sure that, I'm on the right track, so to speak.
Yeah. You got to be paid for your time here, So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So make sure you're being compensated for the risk you're taking here, and also your time. So
okay,
whatever that is to you, you know what I mean? Whatever that price is to you, will be determined on you, So some people's time, it's worth $200 an hour. Some people's time they feel like is worth only $50 an hour. So it really just depends on what your time is worth and how much effort you're having to put into this to make it worth your while. A good rule of thumb with something like this is that I used to say that each patient should be generating at least $100 a month profit for your practice. Okay. So that's profit, right? So if you charge, let's just say you have semaglutide, you charge $250 a month for that. And let's just say for simple math, the semaglutide cost you $150 for a month's supply. Then if you're charging $250, you're making $100, right? So yeah. So I used to say $100, but how inflation's been over the last couple of years, our purchasing power has decreased significantly over the last couple of years. Everyone's purchasing power. Like if you're being paid the same amount you're being paid now than you were 2 or 3 years ago, you have actually took a pay cut, right?
Yeah. What are they saying? Like 7% or something like that, 8%, I think that's what they were saying, like inflation.
Yearly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what you paid 2.5, 3 years ago for something is 30 to 40% more now than what it was. So we've lost 30% of our purchasing power. So if you're making $100 an hour, technically speaking, you're only making $70 an hour now because your money is just worth less, right? Yeah. So you have to kind of keep in mind inflation with your business, okay? You just got to increase prices to pace it. You just do. So just keep that in mind. So a good rule of thumb now is you should be making $120 to $130 a month off each patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
do that in.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, it was $100 what I recommend. Now, $120, $130 a month, probably what you should be profiting. But at the same time too, you also got to be thinking about who your patient is, right? Are they struggling? Can you help some people out? And so at my men's health practice, we're maybe generating $110, $120 a month in profit, versus the $100 a month profit that we were, making 3 years ago. We haven't increased our prices significantly just because, a lot of our patients are, they're firefighters or police officers, or, they're people who are vital to our community. And I want to make sure they're getting good care and that's affordable for them. And, their pay hasn't really increased that much. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, you want to keep them happy too. They're going to refer to you, too, if they're happy, they're going to send people over your way. So that's a benefit too.
Correct. Yeah. Those referrals will pay for itself. Right. So,
yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's some clinics that charge this luxury pricing stuff, thousands of dollars a month and all this kind of stuff. You're stealing from people. So, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that lately and I'm like, I just can't believe it. Like, they'll do I've seen advertisements for like $1,000 a month. I'm like, that is insane for tirzepatide. I'm like, that's pretty, I don't know who can afford that and sustain that. I mean, they must have just an absorbent amount of money,
Yeah. 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 I mean, a lot of people will pay that, that's the thing about luxury pricing is that you will find people who will pay that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could sleep well at night knowing that I'm just totally screwing people over.
Yeah. I have no part in that. And the market I'm in it's a modest area. I mean, there's people that have money here, but it's mostly blue collar. And it is growing, but there's people that need these services here too. So might as well offer that to them.
100%. You might as well, right? Yeah. Now I know you want to talk about marketing some. What questions do you have from a marketing perspective?
I'm trying to figure out how I could do that. I thought about doing some signs out in front of the gym, offer put like semaglutide or tirzepatide or weight loss offered here or something like that. Would you recommend, basic signage right now? And do you think that would work?
I think you should try to utilize what you have right in front of you. So, if you're in a gym and this gym has, pretty high foot traffic, then you need to be getting in front of these people's eyes as much as possible. So you need to talk to the gym owner, the manager, whoever, and ask them, what are you okay with me doing? And, what can I do here? So, in a lot of gyms, they'll allow you to kind of put like a little commercial or just like a PowerPoint slide or whatever on the TVs, in front of the treadmills that play, every once in a while, put flyers up in the locker rooms or in the weightlifting room or whatever. So try to utilize what you have right in front of you because you already have a lot of foot traffic there of people who are probably highly interested in the services that you're providing. So,
yeah. I think it's a good idea. I need to get the cards made with like a QR code. That way people can go right to my link and schedule from their phone. So I want to put some of those cards up and I think signs, and that's a good idea. I like that idea with the, like a picture or a banner of my business on like the TV. I think that's a brilliant idea. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Before you do the QR codes, though, make sure you have your website built first, though, okay? So that way they can go to the website and kind of explore, what it is that you do.
Okay, yeah. Well, the QR code I have currently, I haven't put it on anything yet, but it will automatically go to my scheduler with OptiMantra. So, but I would like to get that website.
Yeah, for sure. So what you could do is you could use that QR code, on the business cards or the flyers. You can say, if you're interested in scheduling an appointment, scan this QR code. It takes them to the appointment scheduler, right? Or if you want to learn more information, go to www.whatever.com.
Okay, great. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Now, outside of that, like I said, you want a Google business listing because that will acquire patients that don't even go to that gym who are looking for the service. So there are people out there who are interested in weight loss, who are interested in hormone replacement therapy, and they're going to go to Google and they're going to search for this. And so if you have a Google business listing with your services listed and your name and whatnot, you'll be getting patients that way too. And that's a win for the gym owner too. Now they got more traffic coming in. They might sign up for a gym membership. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. That's what he was telling. I think that's his whole plan, his idea. So that will be beneficial for his chiropractic services too. So we'll be able to, it's a win-win for both of us.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for everybody. if your goal is to grow this slowly and you're not really in much of a rush, I would just stick to your Google business listing, and I would just stick to the foot traffic coming in that gym, get a website, and I would just leave it at there and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to grow it a little faster, you want to scale a little bit quicker, then consider doing some actual like paid advertising. A billboard locally sometimes works really, really well. Google search ads work really, really well. I'd probably avoid advertising on Facebook or social media right now. So you can do Google search ads. You can do some local ads like billboard. See if you can get some ads in some other gyms, bars, restaurants, those kinds of things. So usually what you can do is you can reach out to local marketing agencies and see if there's any opportunities to advertise locally in places where you can just call, various billboards you might see around town and, get like 1 or 2 billboards up or something. Or you do some Google search ads. I mean, Google search ads are very effective. And someone's searching for weight loss, your clinic comes up first, through the Google ad locally. So you can go that route too if you want. But if you're not in a real rush, I would say just try to organically grow this on its own. Just stick to the Google business listing and stick to, the ads in the gym and wait for word of mouth to start and see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'll start there and then billboard down the line, because that's probably going to be pretty expensive to initially budget at first, but later as things pick up, I think it'll be feasible.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. So any other questions?
No, I mean, I had this I wanted to make sure I ironed all this out. I know it's a young business right now, so I kind of wanted to get on it first, get your opinion. I kind of had this whole thing kind of planned, because I was like, I'm going to take the course. I'm already a nurse practitioner. I've been doing this for a while, so I think I'll catch on pretty quickly. And then I was like, I've been listening to Justin's podcast for a while, so I'm like, I'll see what he thinks. Maybe he'll let me pick his brain. So thanks for letting me do that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. So, I like to end the episode with you asking me a question, a personal curiosity or a question directly for me.
Okay. I thought about this. Oh, what's next for you? Are you going to continue to run your businesses, or are you going to kind of be more of like an entrepreneur and just kind of hold on to like the elite NP? Like what's your goal in the end? Are you going to continue to practice?
I will probably eventually stop patient care sometime in the very near future. I just feel like that phase of my life is kind of coming to a close. I enjoy, clinical practice, but there are some other things that I enjoy more. And so I'm kind of in the process of, potentially selling my men's health clinic, or, doing a strategic partnership with it, so it can scale and grow and I can get a, pretty large payout. With the Elite NP, I've done some strategic partnerships with it to help it grow further. So in the short to medium term, I'll probably start wrapping up my clinical practice over the next, couple years, more than likely. With that said, I probably always will be seeing some patients here and there. I mean, I got a patient base at my men's health clinic, and I'll probably just stick with that patient base and call it a day. No more new patients. I'll just stick with the patients that I have now and, just leave it there. So that's kind of more in the short, medium term. In the long term, I'm probably going to really focus more on Elite NP, doing podcasts, developing courses, writing content, doing conferences, doing that. And also got a couple other side projects I'm sort of working on right now. I recently started a business brokerage, proibrokers.com. And so I'm helping other clinic owners sell their practice. So I really like that process, and I really like the aspects of teaching people how to scale and grow their business with the goal of selling it. And then I want to actually help people sell their business as their business broker. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
That's pretty cool. I mean, what you've done for the NP position, career has been great. So we really appreciate everything you're doing, everything you're putting out for us. And it gives us some, ambition to kind of do it ourselves. So we really appreciate everything. So,
it's a pleasure to help, man. It's a real honor to have helped a lot of people break free and start their own business and really change the trajectory of not only their life, but their family's life too. So it's been a real pleasure. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it was a pleasure having you on here, man. And if, if you want to do a follow-up or, have any questions, shoot me an email.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a nice evening.
Okay. You too. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Christian. Now, you have to remember, scaling a business is very, very important if you want to grow that business and eventually scale it, okay? Currently, he is working in the phase of scaling a business that, basically just started. So make sure you are always doing the things that were discussed in this episode if you want to grow and scale your practice, because you have to understand those principles of scaling if you want to build a 7-figure business. I hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.